Women notice structure, not surface. One of the most sobering realizations a man can have: women see more than you think. Much more. They may smile politely, seem distracted, or say little, but their minds are working, often faster than yours. They're not just seeing your clothes or your hairstyle. They're not just reacting to your height or the kind of car you drive. Those things are surface level. And while they can grab attention for a moment, they don't hold it. What holds attention, what commands respect, is deeper. Women are not primarily looking for flash. They're looking for form, not appearance, but structure. And here's the truth: if you think they don't notice, it's only because you haven't been paying attention to how they pay attention. Women are remarkably tuned to perceive the underlying architecture of a man's life. They may not articulate it in clinical terms, but they intuitively register whether you have your inner house in order. They can tell if you're drifting or driven, reactive or composed, shallow or solid. These things show up in the smallest interactions: how you shake someone's hand, how you respond to frustration, how you treat people who can do nothing for you. Why does this matter so much? Because women, biologically and psychologically, are risk-aware. For them, choosing a man isn't just about momentary pleasure. It's an assessment of long-term safety, potential partnership, and shared responsibility. Consciously or not, they're asking, can this man handle life? Can he take care of himself and possibly others? Can he lead when things fall apart? They notice the way you talk about your goals. Do you even have any? Or do you just float through your days complaining about your boss, your ex, or the system? They notice how you treat time. Are you punctual, present, purposeful? Or are you perpetually late, distracted, and disengaged? They notice how you carry yourself. Is your back straight? Do you make eye contact? Do you walk with purpose? Or do you slouch as if you're trying to disappear? These are not superficial judgments. They're snapshots of the deeper blueprint of who you are. Even if you have very little right now in terms of money, status, or external success, if a woman sees that you, rebuilding something, if she sees the bricks of effort, the mortar of discipline, the scaffolding of vision, she will take note. Structure is attractive because it implies stability, and stability implies strength. A man with structure has habits that serve him. He has a hierarchy of values. He knows what matters most and what doesn't. He organizes his environment, even if it's modest. He's aiming at something higher than himself. And crucially, he holds himself accountable when he fails. That's not just admirable, it's rare. And that rarity makes it magnetic. But a man without structure? He's dangerous, not in the powerful, competent way, but in the chaotic way. He's emotionally volatile, dishonest with himself, and often stuck in blame and excuse-making. At best, he's a boy in a man's body. At worst, he becomes a liability, someone a woman has to fix, carry, or survive. No self-respecting woman wants that. So what's the solution? You build yourself, quietly, consistently, ruthlessly. You establish daily routines. You confront your vices. You clean your room, literally and metaphorically. You set goals and break them into actionable steps. You read. You train your body and your mind. You get clear about what kind of man you want to be, and then you live as if you're already becoming him, because you are. Understand, this isn't about performing for women. It's not about manipulating them into liking you. It's about becoming a man who's worth noticing, on his own terms. The irony is, when you stop chasing superficial approval and instead commit to building inner structure, you start to stand out. Not loudly, but clearly. You become the kind of man whose presence communicates competence without a word, the kind of man whose confidence doesn't scream but resonates, the kind of man who's noticed, not because he demands attention, but because he's earned it. So if you're wondering what women really notice about you, start with this: they see the foundation, build it strong. Posture and behavior reveal the inner world. There's a lie you've been sold, that what's happening inside your mind is your business and your business alone, that you can carry fear, confusion, resentment, or apathy within you and somehow keep it invisible. You can't. You never could. Because what's inside leaks, and women, especially women, notice it faster than you imagine. Posture and behavior are not just physical expressions. They are the outward signals of your internal state. You think slouched shoulders just mean you're tired? They don't. They signal defeat. You believe avoiding eye contact is just about being shy? It's not. It signals insecurity, shame, or evasiveness. You assume checking your phone 5 times in 10 minutes is harmless. It reveals anxiety, boredom, and disconnection from the present moment. Every action speaks. The question is, what story is your behavior telling the world about you? Women are exceptionally attuned to these subtle cues. Why? Because for thousands of years, their very safety depended on it. Before there were background checks, LinkedIn profiles, and criminal records, women had to feel whether a man was stable or unstable, genuine or deceitful, dangerous or dependable within seconds. That biological instinct hasn't gone away. It's embedded in the way they evaluate men to this day. That means your body is talking even when your mouth is shut. Your walk, your tone of voice, your gestures, these are all parts of your psychological resume. And here's the kicker. Women read it fluently. If you carry tension in your jaw, glance nervously around a room, or fidget when confronted, they'll know something's off. If you speak too loudly, interrupt others, or exaggerate your accomplishments, they'll sense the ego-driven performance behind it. But if you walk into a space with your shoulders back, spine straight, eyes calm, not aggressive, but grounded, you're broadcasting something entirely different. You're saying, I know who I am. I'm not here to dominate or disappear. I'm here to stand my ground. That's strength. That's composure. And that's compelling. But let's be clear, posture and behavior aren't just about appearance. You can't fake it long term. You might be able to trick someone for an hour, maybe even a few dates. But if your inner world is fractured, the cracks will show. The body cannot lie for long on behalf of a disordered soul. That's why real change has to come from the inside out. If you want to carry yourself like a man worth noticing, you need to become one first. That means cleaning up your mental clutter. It means confronting your fears instead of avoiding them. It means speaking the truth even when it's uncomfortable. And it means developing a set of values that guide you through every decision. When you do that, something shifts in your behavior. You stop reacting to everything like life is out to get you. You move with intention. You speak with precision. You become calm in the face of pressure, not because you're pretending to be tough, but because you've been through enough storms to know you can handle them. And then, naturally, your posture follows suit. You breathe deeper. You make eye contact, not to intimidate, but to connect. You shake hands with strength and sincerity. You're present, not somewhere else mentally, scrolling your dopamine-fed distractions. You sit up straight because you have a spine, both literally and morally. This presence is powerful because it signals ownership of your space, of your actions, of your life. And women notice that. They respect it. Because it tells them that you're not a passive observer of your own story. You're the one writing it. That's rare. And it's attractive in a way that no amount of money, looks, or clever lines can replicate. So if you want to know what women are really picking up on when you walk into the room, forget about your outfit for a second. Ask yourself instead, am I walking like someone with a purpose? Am I speaking like someone who knows what he believes? Am I behaving like someone who respects himself? Because in the end, posture is just the body's way of showing who you are inside. And behavior? It's the living proof of your beliefs. You don't need to announce who you are, you show it every moment in how you move through the world. So stand up, speak carefully, move deliberately, act with integrity, because your body is talking. And women, they're listening. Integrity is more attractive than bravado. There's a misconception among men, especially young men, that confidence means showing off, that to attract attention or admiration, you have to speak louder, boast more, or dominate the room. That bravado, exaggerated, puffed-up self-assurance, is the key to being noticed and respected. That's a lie, and it's a costly one. Because here's the truth. Integrity, not bravado, is what truly attracts, commands respect, and builds lasting connection. And women, in particular, are wired to notice the difference. Not just notice it, but feel it, often before you've even realized which version of yourself you're showing. Bravado is all surface. It's performance. A man who relies on bravado is usually trying to cover something. Fear, inadequacy, confusion, insecurity. He may not even be aware of it, but his exaggerated stories, loud behavior, or constant need to assert dominance are signals. And not strong ones, weak ones. Because bravado says, look at me, please. Validate me. That's not power. That's desperation in disguise. Integrity, on the other hand, is silent strength. It doesn't shout. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't demand to be noticed because it knows what it's worth. Integrity is being the same man in private that you are in public. It's telling the truth when it would be easier to lie. It's keeping your word even when it costs you. It's having a code and living by it, not just talking about it. And make no mistake, women are exceptionally tuned into this difference. You can fake confidence for a while. You can wear the right clothes, say the right things, lift weights, drive a nice car, and talk tough. But over time, and often within minutes, your integrity, or lack of it, starts to show. Because a woman isn't just listening to what you say, she's watching how you say it, where your eyes go, how you treat the waiter, whether your words match your actions, whether you shift blame or take responsibility, whether you own your failures or hide behind excuses. This is not about perfection. No man is perfect, and no woman expects you to be, but she does expect you to be real. She expects honesty, presence, and courage. And courage doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you face your fear with your head held high. That kind of strength, quiet, grounded, principled, is magnetic. A man with integrity is consistent. He doesn't change who he is depending on the crowd. He doesn't sell his values for approval. He doesn't brag about what he's going to do. He simply does it. And when he fails, which he will, he admits it, learns, and moves forward. This kind of man is rare. And because he's rare, he stands out without trying to. Let's break this down practically. Suppose you're on a date and you're trying to impress a woman. The guy with bravado might talk over her, name drop, or try to seem mysterious or dangerous. He might embellish his achievements or mock other men to elevate himself. He thinks this works. It doesn't. The man with integrity, he listens. He's curious. He asks thoughtful questions. He's not afraid to admit he's still growing. He doesn't try to perform. He shows up, fully present, honest, grounded. He's not trying to be liked. He's trying to be truthful. Because he knows that any connection not built on truth is built on sand. And here's the part most men miss. Integrity doesn't repel attraction. It amplifies it. Because when a woman senses a man is real, trustworthy, and emotionally anchored, it gives her the one thing bravado never can: safety. Not just physical safety, but emotional safety. And with that, she can open up, trust, connect, build something real. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You need to be the clearest. You need to walk through the world with conviction, not arrogance. You need to build a life that reflects your deepest values, not someone else's highlight reel. That's what's attractive. That's what inspires loyalty, respect, and love. Not your swagger, not your clever pickup lines, not your bravado, but your integrity, because when everything else fades, looks, status, bravado, integrity is what remains. And women, they're not just looking at your smile, they're watching your character. So be the man who speaks with honesty, stands with conviction, and lives with consistency. Be the man who doesn't need to pretend, because who he really is enough. You must become a man worthy of being noticed. You want to be noticed. That's natural. Every man does. Whether you admit it or not, there's something deep within you that longs to be seen, truly seen, especially by women. You want to be respected, desired, even admired. But here's the hard truth. You don't get noticed for free. Attention isn't a right. Respect isn't handed out. Admiration isn't something you can demand. It's earned. And you earn it by becoming the kind of man who is worthy of it, not flashy, not perfect, worthy. There's a dangerous trap that too many men fall into. The belief that they deserve to be seen just because they exist. That women should somehow look past the excuses, the laziness, the lack of direction, and appreciate the real you.
But who is the real you?
Who skips responsibilities, plays victim, avoids discomfort, and distracts himself with entertainment? That man doesn't need a woman. He needs a wake-up call. You want to be noticed? Be someone worth noticing. Not in the way of showing off your watch or your car or your followers. That's surface-level nonsense. That kind of attention is cheap, and it disappears the moment something shinier walks in. Real notice, soul-level recognition comes when you start showing up as a man with purpose, with discipline, with integrity, a man who is climbing a mountain, even if he's still near the bottom, a man who has committed himself to growth. This doesn't mean you have to be rich, jacked, or have it all figured out, but it does mean you need to be on the path, A woman doesn't expect perfection, but she wants to see a trajectory, a sense that you are becoming something, that you've chosen to face life, not hide from it, that you're willing to take responsibility for yourself and the impact you have on others. Women don't respect men who seek validation. They respect men who live by principle. You know what's rare? A man who tells the truth. A man who shows up on time, not because it's impressive, but because he respects his own word. A man who doesn't need to dominate or control, but who refuses to shrink into passivity. A man who is actively working on his flaws, not wallowing in them, not denying them, but facing them. That kind of man radiates something. Call it energy, call it presence, call it gravitas. Whatever it is, it draws people in because it's real. And in a world full of empty performance and surface-level attraction, authenticity has become a rare and powerful form of currency. So how do you become that man? You start where you are, you stop making excuses, you clean up your habits, even the small ones, especially the small ones. You treat your body like it matters. You read. You learn. Ask hard questions about who you are and who you could be. You hold yourself accountable. You stop blaming your parents, your ex, or the system for everything wrong in your life. You take what's in front of you and you build. Every day you make choices that either move you toward strength or toward weakness, toward clarity or confusion, toward growth or stagnation. If you want to be worthy of notice, you need to live like someone who gives a damn about what kind of man he's becoming. And here's something else most men overlook. Being worthy of notice isn't just about being seen by women. It's about being respected by yourself. If you don't respect the man in the mirror, no amount of female attention will fill the hole inside you. It will only make it deeper. The only sustainable confidence is the kind that comes from alignment, when who you say you are matches how you live. When a woman sees a man like that, a man who is consistent, grounded, and growing, she notices. Not because he's flashy, but because he's solid. Because his presence speaks louder than his words. Because she can feel that he's not faking it. And because deep down, she knows that kind of man is rare and real. So stop asking to be noticed. Start becoming someone who naturally stands out because of your courage, your clarity, and your commitment to something bigger than yourself. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You need to be the one who's becoming, every day, someone you'd respect if you met him. That's the man women notice. That's the man the world needs more of. And that, my friend, is the man you are called to become.